Welcome to the My House Podcast, a show about the past, present, and future goings-on at the My House Youth Drop-In Center in Wasilla, Alaska, with your host, Michelle Overstreet. Welcome to episode 54 of the My House Podcast. I am not Michelle Overstreet.
No, you're not.
I am Isaac Smoldon, and I'm joined by podcast guy Bryan Fields.
Bryan,
thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You know, I only see you in here like 2 times a week
minimum.
Recording every other podcast that we do.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because today we're not talking about sports and we're not talking about, well, we're kind of talking about the 12 steps, but in a not specific type of way.
Yeah.
You're here because we're talking about our brand new residential treatment program.
Yes.
Woo. Which has been happening for a little bit now. In fact, we have 4 clients that are over there right now.
Yep.
We talked about, hey, we're kind of getting ready to do this and we're building this whole program.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 months ago. And since then, you and the staff built the program.
Yeah.
And it's running.
Yeah.
And I've been over there. Spent a couple nights over there.
You sure have.
Watching the cameras,
your
doing the work.
Yeah.
We're hiring, by the way.
We are hiring. If you want to work in this field and give back to the youth, you can go to Indeed and find several job openings.
You can.
Yeah.
You can also just email a resume to info@myhousematsu.org. If you don't want to go hunting and pecking for that, there is more information on our Facebook. But Bryan.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about this program.
Yeah, man. I mean, first off, like super excited to be able to provide this to the community and such a need. You know, I think over time we have seen that the recovery community has gotten younger and younger. And I truly believe that attributes to our youth being exposed to harder substances earlier and earlier. And so, you know, also want to give a big thank you to True North Recovery, who, you know, helped and sponsored and gave feedback and all of the things to help us get this thing rolling. And what this really came down to was, you know, I got to meet with Carl, the CEO of True North, and I actually helped them open their treatment center, Vita Nova. And one of the things that we really talked about when we did that was how cool would it be for participants to be able to work while they're engaged in treatment, right?
How cool would that be?
I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool.
As someone that has been to treatment and was also working while you were in treatment.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Did it work?
It worked for me, you know, and it was a little bit different, right? And so you look at, you know, youth in general and engaging in treatment is really difficult for a young 18, 19, 20-year-old.
Sure.
Because they end up in treatment with people twice their age, and there's that connection failure there, right? They don't feel like they can connect. And so we wanted to create a program that allowed for participants to be able to be with their peers as well as grow while they're in residential treatment. I truly believe as a provider, it is not my sole job to isolate you and bring you and teach you coping skills, right? Like my job is to prepare you for what the world is going to look like. Mm-hmm. And how am I going to do that if you're just in group all day, every day, and 7 days a week, right?
Right.
That doesn't really prepare you for what the world looks like. So we built a program that really implements job training and education and really focuses on the low intensity aspect of treatment. And so there's minimal group requirements. They have one group every single day. A lot of our groups are heavy on life skills because we feel like that fits our demographic. This is a residential exclusively for participants in the age range of 18 to 25. And how do you keep a young person active and want to engage is you keep them busy, right? Like they need to have stuff to do.
Can't get bored.
You got a bunch of 19-year-olds in a house and they got nothing to do. They're gonna go find something to do, right? And so we start our day, we do our group, and then from 10 o'clock on, we are either engaging with case management to address any of your basic needs. So for like, you know, primary care, all of that different type of stuff. We do mental health referrals if we have clients that are kind of like a higher need. So we will take 3.5 recommendations as well. And then we will either refer internally for mental health or we will outside refer based on client preference.
And we talked about this a little bit before, but 3.1, 3.5, in layman's terms, it just means, hey, you have a substance use disorder diagnosis and there's some co-occurring mental and behavioral health stuff going on. And if you don't have one of those, if you're in that age range, you need treatment, you feel like you need treatment, you're looking for it. The great thing about this program is that we can help you not only get signed up for Medicaid for insurance, we can also provide those assessments here at the building if you need.
Yeah, we are starting to roll that out and be able to provide some assessment slots. We do also work closely with True North, who's been awesome about getting our participants in and really, speaking to the needs of what we have with our participants and taking that into account when they do those assessments. So that's been super awesome. And then, one of the things that makes our program different is we have the capability to work with a program like 9-Star that provides paid internships. And we have some funding in other areas for clients that maybe don't qualify for that. But we have 2 job training sites here within our building, right? And so where other programs, it's like, if I give them a job, they're going to be out in the community and da-da-da. Well, our first 2 phases, they're really here in the building each day. They're working, they're surrounded by My House staff. So if there is an issue, is there a concern, they have the support that they need, as well as, hey, if you need to graduate, well, your sole purpose shouldn't be just doing work, right? And so we flex out schedules, where, we have a participant right now who is, they worked Monday and Tuesday, and now they're at Cyberlinks working on school today. We have another client that's working, and then later on this afternoon, we'll go to school and work with a tutor and work on their schoolwork. And so, I'm really, really proud of the program. Our participants seem to really enjoy it. And I am kind of shocked that we were able to do this in the amount of time that we were able to do that with, the limited resources that we had available to us. It's pretty
well, because we need it, right? And clients needed it. You talked about that connection. That's what I hear from every single person with lived experience in this field, is how important that connection piece is to their recovery, how isolated you feel when you're in that addiction. And it's bananas to me how positive the majority of our folks are, the vast majority of the time, how positive everyone in this program is so far. It's a little unnerving. It's a little freaky because they're in a better mood than me. I don't think that that's generally associated with residential treatment, but just the support they have for each other, the 180 flip on their outlook from when they did that first intake and began in the program. Is wild.
And I think a lot of the feedback that we're getting at the end of the day, they feel accomplished. Right. And they feel like they have participated. And they're not just like, a lot of people look at treatment as I'm kind of putting a pause on my life. Right. And what has been so intriguing to these participants is that they don't feel that way at the end of the day. And we're very active in the community. We go to several AA and NA meetings a week. We have gym passes set up for them, so they have gym days that they go to the gym and can get some physical exercise. It's a little difficult in the winter here in Alaska. We definitely want to do some nature exploring and stuff like that, and we'll implement that more in the summer and do hiking and different things like that. But really want to try to, I'm going to keep really pushing and looking for different ways for people to recover, because AA and NA aren't the only way to achieve long-term sobriety, and we want to provide a holistic care approach, and I think our participants want that too, right? Because they don't always jive with AA or NA, right? And some of their substance use is pretty minimal in comparison, right? And so they still run into that connection issue with those groups, and so finding them other outlets to be able to add to their daily life to be able to achieve long-term recovery is extremely important.
Yeah, I went to the movies last night.
Yeah, went to the movies, right? Yeah. All that type of stuff, we're going to go play games. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to go hiking. We're going to do some cultural exercise. We're just going to try to implement as much as we can, keep them busy, keep them active, and keep them just exploring what works for you and that you can take with you once you leave here. And be ready to kind of attack that and sustain your recovery.
Well, and I think the stigma around treatment, like you said, that feeling of, oh, my whole life is going on pause. I mean, this is a very normal day. You get up, you eat breakfast, you go to work or school or both. Then you kind of have your after work activity that you're doing. Maybe it's something that is bettering you. Maybe it's just something for fun. And then you're all going back and there's kind of that family dynamic. We're sitting down, we're talking about our day, and you go to bed. That is a normal day for 90% of us, right? And so, but there still is all those recovery elements that are a piece of that. And so you're getting the best of both worlds. You don't have to feel, because in some ways that can almost create those feelings of isolation, I think, long-term when you're out, because now you're not prepared for what, life is going to look like for the rest of your life outside of treatment. Like you said, you have those pieces in place while still getting the treatment aspect.
Right. Absolutely. And I think it's just extremely important for their success. And we have the capability. I mean, I think a lot of people are like, well, it's going to open you up to a lot more risk and a lot more stuff like that, but I think we're prepared for that. And I think at the end of the day, I would rather you have a mistake while you're in treatment, while you have the support around you, than, 2-3 months outside of treatment. And then you kind of are lost and don't know what to do. And then you kind of start the cycle all over again. Right. And so, once they get into their third phase, they'll be seeking outside employment and they'll be able to get their car and they'll take themselves to work. And I would love to see any other program like this. Because I don't know of one. Yeah. But I think
we're pioneering it, baby.
We're pioneering it. And I think we'll see a really lasting effect because of it. And I think we could potentially change the way that 3.1 is provided here in our state.
Yeah. So we have open beds. There is room available. If you or someone is 18 to 25 and is in need of treatment services, we can provide that right here at my house. We would love to have you join our wonderful little band that we have there right now. They will be very excited to see you and add you to their group. So, Bryan, what does the process look like for applying or finding out more information about this program?
So you can go to our website and get our application on the website. You will need a behavioral health assessment that speaks to either 3.1 or 3.5 recommendation level of care. And you will have to complete a health screening with your primary care if you have one, or you can go to like an urgent care or something like that, and do a TB test. And then you'll turn all of that stuff in to info@myhousematsu.org.
That is correct.
And then that will get sent to Kurt and myself, and I will look it over, approve it, and then Kurt will get in touch with you and schedule your intake and go from there. The process too, if you are somebody that wants to do that, but you don't really know how to do that, the drop-in center is still providing behavioral health services and still providing drop-in center services. And so we can absolutely meet with you and your family to explain the treatment process and walk through that process with you and help you get set up for your assessment. If you don't have Medicaid, help you sign up for Medicaid, all of that good type of stuff. And we are still, if you're not somebody that needs necessarily the residential setting, we still provide, case management, peer support, mental health counseling. We do what we call recovery care services.
And we can connect you with outpatients
as well. We can connect you with outpatients. We have community partners for that. We're not technically providing outpatient, but we provide something similar where we prescribe, peer support, case management, and then you meet with a clinician once a month to kind of track your progress and see how you're doing and where we can fill gaps and all of that good stuff.
Yep. And I will put a link to the website. It's under the Our Services tab. You scroll down to behavioral health. There is a link that has that application packet. And again, any questions, easiest thing to do is just call us, 907-373-4357, 373-HELP, 373-4357, or stop on by 300 North Willow Street, downtown Wasilla. You can, of course, reach out, info@myhousematsu.org. Any of those avenues.
Yes.
We will get in touch with you and get you hooked up to those services.
And please do, even if you don't feel like you're ready for that, just have a conversation with us. At the end of the day, we want to help you in whatever aspect that looks like. We do not do involuntary care or anything like that. And so if you just want some help and that hand up that we talk about, give us a call and come in and see us, and you'll be welcomed every time.
Well, Bryan, thank you again for joining
sir.
me for the second time this week. We'll record more. Hey, and if 12 Steps is the pathway for you, let's give another shout out. Exit 12, 3 Step 7, that will release next week. And you can go back and watch all those episodes.
Absolutely.
Work through those with us. Get in touch with some of our folks here about going to those groups, those local groups in the Valley. They can definitely put you in touch with the right spot for you to recover how you need to recover, and build those peer connections and be a part of our fantastic recovery community in the Mat-Su.
Absolutely.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you, Bryan, once again. The My House podcast is recorded at the My House studio in Wasilla, Alaska. I'm Isaac Smoldon. Until next time.